What do you make of the report? I guess Chris Johnston wrote this morning that ownership was embarrassed by that game. And what do you, like, if you're working for the Maple Leafs and you see that report or you hear that, like, how do you respond if you're Brad Treliving or Craig Berube or maybe any of the players?
Well, everything starts at the top. And, when ownership endorses or criticizes or says what's acceptable or not acceptable, that's where it all emanates from. So, when you look at ownership coming out and saying that was embarrassing, well, I mean, it's not their assessment isn't surprising. The fact that they're ready to say it, I think, is a good thing. I think it's about saying what's not acceptable. Mm-hmm. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, that was ugly, man. That was as ugly as it gets.
Craig, where do you think it went wrong? I mean, I know that's just it's kind of a lazy comment or statement or question, but it's just game 5. I think we all acknowledge you can live with a stinker, and then they came back with a game 6, a solid, really good team effort on the road. Game 7, like, if you had to start maybe one thing, like, what do you see that just where it snowballed and how it all went wrong?
Okay, so let me, I don't think it's an easy question. I don't think it's a layup. But when we talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I use the term, who can go the longest, the hardest? So when you train for a marathon, you got to run the miles. You got to run the miles to be able to get through a marathon. You don't train for a marathon by running 16 miles. You got to run 20. You got to run 22. You got to know what the pain feels like. So when you ask me where it started, I don't think there's been any question that this Leafs team can muster up enough for a game or two. But when it gets really hard, have they been able to train to push through the wall? It might have started 8 years ago. It might have started 7 years ago. It might not have. If you don't find out what you don't have until you get there and realize you don't have it, and you go, I didn't train enough. Yeah, I didn't put in the miles to get through the marathon. Whatever you want, whatever analogy you want to use. So I look at a team, and I said this. I look at a team that has had a fantastic regular season. They got lots of skill, but they have not understood that the artistic ways of the regular season are not going to be the way of the playoffs.
Craig, there's 2 players unrestricted free agents. What would your approach be if you were the GM?
Real simple. We're moving on. Both of them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Marner and Tavares. And Marner, we don't know what his plan is, if he even wants to stay. John wants to stay.
I don't care if he wants to stay, Brian.
I understand
that. He's not staying if I'm the manager.
I understand. I'm not.
If I was Brad Treliving,
can I just hear your reason? I know my reasons, Craig. Can I hear your reasons?
Listen, they've been part of the malaise. They've been part of the thing. Mitch Marner's a heck of a player. We know he's a really good player. We know John Tavares, what he's done this year. The Boston Bruins traded Joe Thornton. He was the first overall pick in '97. And they felt that, they needed a change. It wasn't about one player. It was about the team. And then they built up, and then they ended up winning a Stanley Cup. I think that's exactly where the Toronto Maple Leafs are at, Jeff. And I'm not going to say that in a different scenario, would you want John Tavares? Yeah. Would I want Mitch Marner? Yeah. They're good players. I'm not focusing in on one player right here. I'm focusing in on what I need to do for my team. And I think they've been part of the lack of success, and I'm not blaming it all on them. A new environment, I think, benefits the Leafs, and I think it'll benefit those 2 guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think collectively we all agree. And the reason I mentioned Marner is that could be a different story. What I'm saying is John Tavares has made it very clear he wants to stay. And yesterday he told people that he just had a very positive chat with Berube and Treliving and is very optimistic that he'll be sticking around. What do you make of that? His synopsis of that conversation, and why would they even be having that chat 2 days after they lost Game 7? That's how quickly you evaluate, or what do you make of that?
Yeah, and again, I can only answer Jeff's question what I would do. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not here to critique the players individually. They're really good players. Mitch Marner's a top player in the league. We know that. This is about the team now, and it's about finding ways and exploring ways. I said the other day, nothing would be off the table for me right now. Joe Thornton won a Hart Trophy and won a scoring championship, and Joe Thornton is a hell of a player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But at some point in time, you got to look at it and go, this is what our team is about, and are we going to consider things that can change outcomes? And I think Craig Berube tried. I don't have any question that he tried. I think right now, back to when you said, when did it start? A different environment, a different scenario for these players. I think could see them have success on a team level in the playoffs, certainly. But I think the goal for me is looking at it with respect to the team. So if Brad and John feel comfortable, feeling that this is what's going forward, then that's their call. I'm just telling you what I would do.